Testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. House Culture Conversations. We are in the building. Hello, everyone. Can you see me? I am getting things set up here before we bring on our guest. And I am looking to connect with the folks out there in Twitch land. All right, I hear that. So we are connected now. Welcome to House Culture Conversations. Oh, that's my jam. That's my jam. I see you. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. We've got a great conversation for you all tonight. Hope you are well. I see you coming in. And without further ado, I am going to get the Sandman in the building. Let me see if I can get him in there. Sandman, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
Hey, it's good to see you. I saw you. Now, you just coming from a set not too long ago.
Yeah, from Tumultuous's C90 Saturdays raid train.
Yes. Well, we're going to talk a lot more about that, but welcome to the show. Glad you're feeling well. Tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and how you got into this thing called DJing and house.
Well, my full name, Todd Perrine. I originally hail from Rochester, New York. Moved to where I live now when I was like 11 years old. Been here in Toledo ever since. And really, since I'm so close to Detroit has become like a second home. So it's like Toledo and Detroit are my homes. And how I got into this, man, it's kind of crazy. I started going to clubs. I used to have people that would take me into the clubs when I was like when I was young, like 12, 13 years old, 14 years old. I was going in and being like, snuck into the clubs and caught a DJ one night. I think it was in Ann Arbor, Michigan or something, I think, where it was at. And saw this guy playing. Couldn't even really like see him because we were like way down, and this guy was like way up. You could barely see like the top of his head, but you knew somebody was there. And then they had this big, huge video screen that came down, and he was playing kind of like top 40 tracks, like, but on a video screen, almost kind of like MTV style, because it was like early 80s and whatnot. And I was kind of digging the UK sounds because that was, the first time I was really hearing like some stuff from like the UK and certain like hip house tracks, stuff like that. And then at the end of the night, these people, these two girls and this guy, they're the ones that like they were much older, and they're the ones that like snuck me into the club. And he was like, well, back at my house, I got like 2 turntables and a mixer and like 10 records. He's like, you want to go mess around? I'm like, shit. I'm like, let's go mess around. I'm down. And then I think we got home at like, it was about 3:30. I think it was 3:30 in the morning. And started messing around on his turntables. And the turntables he had were just, like the old big, huge, rack sound systems and stuff from the 80s, like Marantz, Kenwood, stuff like that. It was 2 turntables, 2 belt-driven turntables, and had like one of the earliest Radio Shack mixers or whatever that it came out in the store, and that was his mixer. And then that's how we started just playing records and stuff. And I dug it so much I stuck with it.
That is awesome. Let me acknowledge all the people coming in. DJ Ron Padilla in the building. I think I saw James Collins slide in there. So Gasmic Good to see you guys. We are vibing out with the Sandman. Just getting started, getting to learn a little bit about him. I guess sneaking into stuff has been a, a trend, huh? From very early on.
Yeah, I mean, man, not even just some of the regular nightlife clubs, but from punk clubs and rock clubs, and man, I started in the club scene way before I ever should have been in it. Way before.
Yeah, and I tell you, I hear it quite often.
Experiences for a moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear that quite often from a lot of folks that are in the culture that they got exposed to it before they were even supposed to be. They were still in grade school or middle school, and they had an older brother, or they, knew someone that was older and would tag along. And once they got in there, they were hooked, and they couldn't turn it around, and they've been in it ever since. So when was the first time you got behind the tables and really started doing this thing?
First time we got behind the tables and really started doing it was it was really kind of like almost like a slow story because I didn't have my own equipment or anything. I didn't have turntables and nothing, so I would have to go to people's houses, that had like the old technique like disco turntables with the dial pitch and old tables like that and stuff to be able to use to even get any type of practice in. And that was like real few and far between. I think I was maybe practicing or got to practice for like 30 minutes for like every 3 months, something like that. And so I did that for a while, and then it was late 86, early 87. This bar opened up in Toledo called Frankie's, which, they were looking for something, new DJs, new sounds, new this and that. And I was super new. There were two other guys that I knew that were also, that starting their DJing at the same time I was. And all three of us kind of got together and started DJing at this bar. And really, the bar itself was our practice session because we were playing every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Wow. Now, who were these other cats that were with you?
The other cats that were with me was Derek Thompson, who is heads up Soiree Records International. And then the other one was Boomer Omega Man Reynolds, which he was a +8 recording artist under Richie.
So wow, you got started and you were around some pretty influential people pretty early on, and that's led to decades of playing music and producing. And what's been the most fulfilling part of that journey for you?
Man, the most fulfilling part of this journey in 40 years is being able to touch even just one person. If one person understands what you're doing, loves what you're doing, loves everything about it, that's the reward. It doesn't matter if it's 1, 5, 100, 10,000, 100,000. It's always comes down to just one.
Yeah, I love that. And when you think about, house and the culture, why do you think, 4 decades later for you and even longer, that it still is thriving and growing and it's a worldwide phenomenon?
I mean, the music and stuff that and kind of the industry that we're in with DJs, I mean, really, it's almost like everything that ever comes out, all the music is timeless. So it continues to stay at a type of level and just and grows or whatever and continues on because even though the beats change, the lyrics change and stuff, but the music itself is just so I don't know, I guess you want to say like vibrant, rich in the soul and essence of it all.
Yeah, yeah, and then as it relates to that culture as you're talking about, it's something that is timeless. That you feel the same way today that you felt 40 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. I feel totally the same way. Like I still feel like I'm 20 something, or in my late teens. You know what I mean?
Yes, I tell people that find house music, I say you found the fountain of youth.
Yeah, really. I mean, to be honest, this is probably the one thing that is my sort of active lifestyle that keeps me grounded and young and moving and not sitting around like just some stiff and getting stiff. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's it. Hey, let's say hello to DJ DCI who's stopping by in the middle of his. Uh, he's got the DJs that are out there right now and doing some work there, bringing the guys together. So we appreciate you dropping in and giving a quick shout out to DJ DCI and the work that he is doing with the DJs that are out there and also producers. I think you're doing a fantastic job there, DJ DCI. As soon as we finish this, we'll find you. But he just wanted to say hello and salute you, Sandman, and say hello. So I think that's pretty cool because he's got his consortium DJs that he just kicked off today.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right.
that is going on today. So we appreciate you so much, and all the best with the consortium DJs and the producers and all of that great work. And once again, to everybody tuning in, thank you guys for vibing with you. I see you out there in Twitchville. I see you out there in YouTube, and also in Facebook. If you have a question for the Sandman, go ahead, drop it in the chat, and we will get those questions to him for sure. But, Sandman, when we think about the music you've been playing over the decades, we are now in a new era. And you stream a lot and you're on Twitch a lot. What do you think has been that evolution and what do you feel it's brought to the culture? Do you think it's been good for us? What are your thoughts about now we're streaming and there's so much access to the music?
Yeah, I mean the streaming access, the whole streaming thing in general I think has been great for the DJs in the industry and stuff because where once people really didn't have any kind of voice or to be able to get their voice heard, now it's like you can stream anywhere to anyone anytime in the world, from any country. I mean that's like amazing. You can now in the age of really technology that we live in, I mean I come from a day before we had computers. You might know, remember those times before there was computers, before there was cell phones, before there was any of that.
We probably should. We probably should share that.
Luxuries are, they're loving it. I wish I had some of this stuff way back when. Man, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, you were so right.
You can now in this society you can send a message to Louis Vega. Well, he may respond, he may not. But the fact that you can do it, that's amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny when you were talking about the time when we didn't have computers. When we think back, it wasn't that long ago.
It really wasn't.
It really wasn't. It was just yesterday. And now, to your point, we can touch anyone, anywhere, and we can move throughout the culture. It's like not just the people we know across the street or we grew up with. To your point, we can touch a Louis Vega. We can touch folks that are DJs that we've only seen them perform. Now we can reach out to them and we can get in their streams and say hello, whether it's Jihad Muhammad or Terry Hunter, or any of the chosen few DJs, or many of these big names that we've seen before. Now they have streams that we can tap into and actually get much closer than we ever have. Yogi Chick said, "Good evening." Let me go ahead and say hello to her. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, listening in on House Culture Conversations. We're hanging out with the Sandman. Who have been a couple of your influences?
My kind of one. Well, I mean, really, in the last 4 decades, honestly, even to this day, right now, really, anyone and everyone that I come in contact with that's a DJ or in this music world is an influence of some sort or another.
Yeah.
But as far as maybe like a DJs or something, maybe that I really, liked coming up. I mean, one of my top ones was Doc Martin, because he just kind of really had his own sort of niche and style of his own. I remember sometimes going to his shows and he was the most awkward DJ I've ever seen like play, because from from his elbows up, I don't know what he was moving to. From his elbows to his hands, it was like science and master manipulation. And a lot of the stuff that I even do now today, even the way I mix, a lot of it come from listening to him and a lot of his inspiration in his mixes. Even back when he was like doing 3 tables and stuff, and when nobody was doing 3 tables.
Yeah. Now, when you play, what I've noticed is that you have the ability to play across fields. I'll call them fields as opposed to genres,
Right.
but I guess you could say genres as well. But they're different fields. I can see you, do deep. I can see you work in the Alma piano space. I can see you, go Detroit real hard and heavy. I can see you going many places and spaces. What do you attribute your versatility to in the craft? Because often I find DJs play in a pocket, they play in a space, but I noticed you have a lot of versatility in how you approach it.
Well, it really came about. Oh man, how long has it been now? We'll say 20 years. It's been somewhere right around 20 years. I used to be one of those guys. I drove in one lane, and in this industry at significant points in sort of your DJ career, you kind of have to level up yourself. You can't just stay driving in the same lane really all the time. People can get bored. You know what I mean? So at a certain time, I was just like, you know what? I was like, just being good at this is kind of like really, really lame. Like I need to drive in more than just one lane. There's a whole highway. I need to be able to use every road. Like the what is the saying? A jack of all trades, and what is it? A jack of all trades and a master of one. Or wait, a jack of all trades. How does it go?
It goes jack of all trades, master of none.
That's right. Jack of all trades, master of none, but still always better than a master of one. So that's where it comes in, and I use the whole highway, man. I think the versatility. I think personally for me, because I can't speak for every other DJ, but I think it sharpens your skill set if you're able to run across many different fields, as you say. I think it really sharpens you up, especially mainly like you're a house DJ or maybe you're a hip hop DJ. But if you can kind of run the gamut of the beat spectrum and be good at all of this, then what you do always normally on a daily is going to be, it's always going to sound great. Hopefully.
That's awesome. Babu from New Zealand, welcome aboard. Good to see you, a dear friend from New Zealand, checking in. Thanks so much for vibing with us on House Culture Conversations. We're hanging out with the Sandman, and he has been giving us a lot of insight into his approach to music. What do you think is next for us, Sandman, as we are coming out of COVID, moving into this just explosion in the streaming world? We're getting back out live. Where do you think the direction of the music and the culture is headed?
Kind of like the direction of the music, where it's headed. A lot of times you really never know. It's almost like this industry is like a weatherman is predicting the weather. Where it's gonna go. I mean, you don't know, and is it gonna hit? You don't know. And it's ever evolving, ever changing. There's always some new genre coming out, new subgenre. This, half the time now I can't even keep up with all the subgenres and stuff that we have now. I love it all when I come across it, but you just never know. I would love to see always the industry evolve, especially with technology. Obviously, that's becoming big, in the DJ world. You have a lot of the vinyl purists and stuff that hate technology, but why should any person that's not into technology not embrace technology? If anything, it's another tool to add to your arsenal, whether you're analog or digital.
Yeah, I love that. I love that statement. There's two camps there. There's those people that really embrace technology and what technology affords us the ability to do, and then there's those others, as you mentioned, purists who really want to see people, learn the craft, use vinyl, and the way we've done it. But to your point, technology has allowed us to take the experience for the listener to a whole new level, and I think that's what it's more about versus the how. It's what you're able to create for the listener, and some of the things I see DJs doing today is phenomenal, and it creates such a special experience when you get that opportunity.
More of a performance. The DJ is actually able to give more of a type of performance.
Absolutely.
Than just having your records and moving around and stuff. I mean, not that this I'm an ex-vinyl purist myself, but at one point I got tired of carrying the record bags because I started getting older. I need something lighter, so I embrace technology.
No, I'm with you. And I took a hiatus, and so when I came back, and I didn't have to buy a bunch of records. I could buy some MP3s, download music. It was a big help to me because it made life easier.
That was a game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer. I mean, because as a DJ, back when, spinning records, you couldn't just take one bag to an event. You had to have all 4 or 5 or 6 bags carrying on your shoulders, like, And then on top, you have your DJ, coffin or whatever you had carrying your turntables and stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely work.
That to just, a thumb drive or your laptop. Oh my God, man.
Yeah, indeed. It changed everything.
One of Moses' 11th commandment.
That is okay. Now, you're very active on Twitch, and I want you to take a little bit of time to talk about your, I don't know what you would call them, your programs, your programming on Twitch, starting from, I think it's Monday, Mosaic Monday, and take us through the rest of the week.
All right, so Mondays with Mosaic Mondays is every Monday at 7 p.m. with myself and DesignWorks. So we get down every Monday, just trying to carry people on a little story train and trying to take you somewhere. Where it's going to go, we don't know. But we're going to try and take you somewhere. And then Wednesdays, you've got Syndicate Wednesdays, which features DesignWorks again, features Philip the Haitian, features Pangean, and then features, you know, global guests from around the world. You know, you were on, you know, jamming out, playing the smooth cuts, you know. And then Friday, you got Pangean's train, the Ad Fab Friday, where he has global guests, and the regular guests usually are Sweet D Sauce, Pangean, and then one of Pangean's alter egos, Dead Butterfly. And then that rounds us off into Sunday, which is the only day I really get to do kind of my own thing, which is, you know, Sundays at 6 in the Sandbox with me, where, you know, anything can happen in the Sandbox. Bring your pail and shovel. We'll figure out something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So now, Justin Morel, welcome aboard. Good to see you. Where did the nickname Sandman come from?
Really, to honestly and be honest, real Sandman, really kind of, you know, came from the comic books, because I was a big, you know, comic, you know, I'm still a comic nerd, you know, so, but that's kind of where sort of the idea maybe sort of started, but it wasn't honestly until, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's other Sandmen out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it wasn't until what was it was a track that came out. It was Blue Boys Remember Me. You familiar with that track at all?
No.
All right, it's kind of like a funky kind of version track, but there was there for some reason in the 12-inch or whatever that I saw in the record store, it had Sandman stamped or whatever right on the 12 or whatever, and I'm like, man, that's a pretty dope name. and then I never really got a chance to like kind of use it. And what was it in 2000? It was like 2010, 2011. I was only going to use the name specifically because at the time I was playing like a lot of ghetto funk. Familiar with that, you know? And you know, I was only just using it for that at the time, kind of like a side kind of a project name. And then I was just like, started liking it so much, it's like I might as well just use it for everything. So now I use it for everything.
There it is. Hey, Cabasso said, "What's happening, Cabasso? Good to see you in the chat. Thanks for stopping by and vibing with us on House Culture Conversations." Now, what's the difference between some of your streams? It's like it feels like Syndicate Wednesdays. You guys are driving a mission with Syndicate Wednesdays, and Syndicate Wednesdays has been around a while. It started before you. Tell us a little bit about the story of Syndicate Wednesdays.
Syndicate Wednesdays was actually started from my DJ crew CEO Bill Stacy, aka DJ Soul. He started the whole Wednesday night, and that was what just about 18 months ago. He started it, and at the time, it was DJ Soul, Tec-Troit, G Major, myself. There might have been one other person I can't remember, but it was just really the four of us, and we were just you know, we were just on just kind of playing the play. We were, you know, figure we would just kind of like we'll start something, and you know it'll be just us four, and you know everything was so fresh and new. You know what I mean? So, but then Soul, he because of his Detroit Techno Militia tours and stuff, he had to take a back seat so he could, you know, do his DJ stuff and whatnot. And so then G Major took over, and I kind of would help G with you know, booking some of the DJs just to try and get different people and whatnot, and make it more than just four people. you know, to give other people kind of a voice to be heard, or, you know, their platform to create and, you know, paint the picture. But then, because then due to cancer and stuff like that, G had to back out. So then I took over. And then,
so it's a third generation leadership of Syndicate Wednesdays, which is really a cool vibe. I really encourage folks to catch Syndicate Wednesdays and what you guys are doing. You're bringing in some folks from all over, great talent, great fields, and I really enjoy it. I actually enjoy the other formats as well, with you guys on Mondays and Fridays when I can catch you. But we appreciate you for vibing out with us on House Culture Conversations, sharing a little bit about who you are. Any last words, thoughts of wisdom for our listeners?
Any last words, thoughts, or, you know, just keep it real, people. Don't BS. Don't feed into drama. Don't listen to dummies. You know. I mean, you know. I mean, all that stuff, you know, goes on in dailies. You know, just try to live your life. Be cool, man. Be cool to your neighbor.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So now, as our custom now, with Twitch being a platform that we play on, where are we headed, Sandman?
Man, I mean, honestly,
I'm talking about right now.
Like where is like Twitch headed, or where?
No, where are we headed after this interview?
Oh, where are we headed after this interview?
Yeah.
I have to sit in front of a fan for 10 minutes because for some reason my basement since this interview I've been sweating bullets. So for momentarily, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be chilling in front of a fan.
Let me see who we got out there. Where are we going?
But of course, you know, I gotta check out them Twitch streets.
Indeed. I'm not sure where to go. Where do we want to go? That's why I put it on you. I said, "Where are we going?" You tell me.
Hold on. Let me give a little look. See here. Well, see, you know, it really depends on who you have in your following list. But my top pick would be Mike Freak.
Mike Freak is on?
Yep, he's up. He's on right now.
All right. Okay. There it is. Let me get that set up. Hey, you guys have been listening to House Culture Conversations with the Sandman. And if you didn't catch it all, you'll get a chance to check him out on demand. Just go to my station and we will have that up for you to check him out. Hey, I really appreciate it so much for you just telling a little bit more about yourself and sharing with us. It's been a blast. I appreciate you so much.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Let me see if this raid works.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Hey, it looks like it's going to work. So you guys are headed to a party, and tell Mike Freak hello. We'll be over there with you, and we will catch you next time on House Culture Conversations.
Peace, people.
All right. Now, everybody on Twitch has gone over to Mike Freak. If you are on YouTube or on Facebook, thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts. We'll see you next time. Peace.